Hey, so this is a very extreme cut crease tutorial. I used a black liner as my cut crease and I used glitter all over the lid. So this is a very loud look, something that you wouldn't wear every day, maybe just to a party. But what I want you to pay attention to is the technique, because you can apply the technique for any color that you want to. You could do this with very vibrant colors, or you can do it with very soft neutral colors. It's totally up to you, but essentially the technique is going to remain the same. You're just going to change out the colors. So for instance, I used a very black crease. So I used a black eyeliner as my base. If you were to do this look wanting to do a soft neutral cut crease, then you'd do the same technique, but you would use a lighter brown eyeliner instead of a black. So that's what I mean by just paying attention to the technique. I do realize that this is a very loud and extreme look, but like I said, you can make it your own by switching out the colors. I hope you learn a lot and enjoy. Okay, to get started, I'm going to start out with a concealer. You can use whatever base that you like. I just happen to like using a concealer best. Okay, I've got the concealer on my lid. My next step is to use Black Track Fluid Line to make the actual crease. If you prefer using maybe the black ground paint pot, you could do that. I'm using the Black Track one because it's pretty easy to smudge, and I'm going to want to smudge it. My favorite brush to do any kind of precise line is the 231 brush from MAC. I don't like the really skinny liner brushes like the 209 or the 210. I think that they end up giving a more sloppy line that's a little bit harder to control, I think. The 231 is very short and dense and also very thin, so it makes it very easy to control. So the cut crease, you can really do almost any shape. So, you know, a lot of people will just do it right in their crease, or some people will bring it up higher. It doesn't really matter, whatever floats your boat. Now I know that I went down kind of far and out here. The reason why I did that is because I already know up front that I'm going to be doing a winged liner, and it's going to come out and meet it there. Now I'm going to take a pencil brush and just smudge the top of that line. The goal with smudging it with this brush is to get a really nice gradient effect from the deepest black on out. And once you have a nice gradient, then you have a nice base. And then you can go over top of that with your shadow. I'm pretty happy with that, so I'm going to go ahead and go over that with a black shadow, just where it's deep, like that. I'm going to use Carbon, which is a matte black eyeshadow. Just going to trace over that line that I just did. Now I'm just going to slightly blend out that black eyeshadow using a clean 213 brush. I'm just going to hit the very top line. Make sure to stay away from the bottom part of the line, because you really want that line to be real harsh, but you want the top to fade out. Okay, so I've got my black faded. I'm going to add a second color with my 226 brush. I'm going to be putting Soot. It's a pro color from MAC. It is a matte dark gray. That's about as much color as I want to add, so I just wiped my brush clean, and I'm just going to go back through and kind of diffuse that gray a little bit more. The last color that I'm going to put in the crease is called Wedge. It's a medium matte brown. I'm going to use that same brush. And I just put just a tiny bit. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with how the crease looks. I'm going to go ahead and now work on the lid. I'm going to use a couple different things on my lid. First, I'm going to use a color called the Cool Elite. It is a big bounce shadow from MAC, of course. It was limited edition. I'm using it as my base. I just can't say enough good things about the big bounce shadows. They're awesome to work with. I have to be very careful with how I place this because I don't want to get it on top of any of that black. I'm going to be using a 242 brush. I'm just going to get a tiny, tiny bit of this white big bounce shadow. I'm even going to bring it under the eye a little bit into the tear duct area. Okay, so that's how that looks. That's going to act as a really nice base for my glitter. I've actually mixed two different glitters together. I've got Sifted Silver and Reflex Antiqued Gold. I mixed them together and it just makes a really pretty glitter. I don't really know how to describe the color. I'm using a very tiny brush and I'm just going to pat the color on. So that's how the glitter looks. It's going to look a little bit more complete once I add my liner. So I'm pretty happy with the way the glitter turned out. I really like that color. Again, that was Sifted Silver mixed with Reflex Antique Gold. I'm going to go ahead and use my same 231 brush with the black track and go ahead and do a winged liner. Okay, so something like that. Taking my 213 brush, I'm just going to smudge a little bit of that soot eyeshadow. So yeah, this is just a very extreme cut crease. You could substitute really any color. You could even do a nice neutral cut crease with like beige on the lid and like a medium brown as your cut crease, just something a little bit more subtle. But overall, as far as technique goes, you would pretty much follow the same steps. I just happened to do something that was a little bit more extreme. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed it and come back for more.